So it is a full, actually a solar eclipse. And this is a Libra solar eclipse. And I am a Libra sun sign. So I am already feeling this. I'm recording this the day before. I want to tell you what energy to expect to come up for this eclipse. But let me tell you, this eclipse is calling for authenticity. It's calling for us to be honest with ourselves about where, with who, how we belong in this world. And this is challenging because there is a painful observation with awakening. And sometimes that means you're going to learn things about yourself that is a wound that you didn't know you had before. This is what's happening. We're noticing the areas where we are not as strong as we thought we were. We're noticing the areas where we are limited, the areas where we need growth. And so in this period, in this noticing this, there is this drive to find reassurance and find validation outside of you somehow, whether it's through any relationship outside of you, your children, your partner, your co-workers, your boss, people you go to school with, family members, certain social circles that you participate in. All of these things are like coming up for review to see, is it in balance? Is it aligned with who we are becoming? Or is it only aligned with who we used to be? This solar eclipse feels as if our consciousness is getting a test. And so people are going to be emotionally raw. People are going to feel energy in a very airy mental way. So this may just be mental communication inside of you that you're having. I want you to step outside of yourself and observe the way that you think. Observe the thought trains that you allow yourself to follow. And just see where it goes without trying to control it. Because this energy is about us getting deeper inside of ourselves and real about who we are without the what we do. Who are we beyond what we do? Who are we beyond who we are in other people's eyes? Because some of us, and I speak from the perspective of someone who is from Gen X. So this was in during the time where Pluto was in Libra. This is about 1971 to 1983, if I'm not mistaken, generation. It's about 12 years with Pluto moving. And so the generation that is my peers was the generation of wounded lovers. We raised ourselves, we hung out outside till the lights was out, just all types of things that we would not allow our children to do now. We did that. And we were wounded lovers because we were the generation that energetically awakened to the type of love a child is supposed to be receiving. And when we did not get that attention and that love, and I want you all to remember that we are one of the generations where doctors taught our parents to not pick us up when we cry, unless they thought we absolutely needed something, to put us in a bed in another room as babies and even let us sleep. This was normalized. And this created abandonment trauma. And so many of us are going to get in touch with our abandonment trauma. The key to navigating this energy is being compassionate to yourself. How compassionate can I be to myself? Because the level of compassion that you can give to yourself as certain wounds are being revealed to you to help you attain balance. If you use compassion with what you're observing, you're going to be able to pick up anchors that have been dropped in the past, making it difficult for you to move forward. Those anchors are going to be released from you. And you're going to be free to move in directions that are really going to be in the highest service and highest honor of everything that you are. This is about detaching from the story of what we see and mentally envisioning the story we desire to be. And this means that we may feel the fear of being challenged to step out of dynamics that have kept us safe. And for many of us, that is codependency. That is, I'm only okay if I can make sure everybody around me is okay. I'm only okay if nobody else is not, if nobody else is in need. I'm only okay when everybody is behaving the way I want them to. A lot of us don't know how to be okay when people that we really care about, who may seem to have a strong influence on our behavior, maybe these are the people that trigger you the most. You know, wanting to fix things. This is something, especially from my generation, we become obsessive in wanting to fix things, and we push universal laws. We're trying to push against universal laws and force our way into a flow that we're meant to be going away from. So this energy is going to be definitely tearing down anything that's not worthy of your soul, as I said in the last reading. And so we're going to be challenged in these areas. And again, this is going to be a very emotional time where certain aspects of your shadow self is going to make sure that it is being interacted with for real. It feels very lucid. Things feel more alive. I can feel the energy coming in now. And it is a heightened energy. So we're having to learn how to think so that our mindsets, in combination with the heightened emotional energy on the planet, can actually start creating a reality that's a reflection of the healing work around the heart that we came to do. So things are coming into balance. And those who feel like they have experienced betrayal, manipulation, and maybe haven't felt justice throughout life, you might start to really hone in on what has been happening inside of your mind and your emotions that has attracted certain things into your life. We're going to start to see the connection between the things that we draw into our life and the things that we think about, because this is sun energy. This is consciousness. This is portal energy. This is really giving me a lot of portal energy. So you're going to meet all of these different mental versions of yourself. You're going to be meeting these parts of yourself just inside your mind. It's just going to be a slight tweak on how you would say something. Just pay attention to the subtleties. Okay? So I'm going to get into the cards and find out what the biggest challenge may be that this solar eclipse that is happening in Libra, what is the biggest challenge that it may be presenting for us? What are we being called to finally deal with? What are we being called to face? What are we being called to face? What is the greatest challenge? Give us guidance for this energy. What is it? Ooh, vibration, vibration. Softly, softly, the tender touch. Now, this energy, it feels like exactly what I was saying about the compassion. How much compassion are you really giving yourself, especially when there are things in your life that you feel need improvement and you haven't been able to change it? How do you talk to yourself when you're noticing that? How do you treat yourself? You know, this is shifting us to think about these things. This is a lot of divine feminine energy coming in, that's wanting us to be tender with ourselves, to learn how to relax. Because we are burning ourselves out because we haven't learned how to manage our energetic body yet. And it is the feminine energy that teaches us to relax, that teaches us to be soft and to be gentle. And I know many of us are living lives that we feel like aren't soft. So I can't be soft because my life is hard or challenging sometimes. So we're going to go into the wisdom of this card. I want to read some of this to you. You will just take this moment to hear what your soul is wanting you to know. When we are at a point in life where we want to attain greater things, but don't necessarily have a proportionally greater supply of energy at our disposal, it is time to work smarter rather than harder, and this is the way of feminine wisdom. However, a cultural ignorance of the feminine way currently prevails. We are generally taught that the more force we use, the more we try to make things happen, the more we will achieve. The feminine way is not about force, nor is it about driving, striving, pushing, or grabbing at what we can in order to create. It is about inviting what we wish for to come into the space. We cultivate more energy. This method allows you to magnetize energy, and it causes less stress, and it attracts what is desired. It is a manifestation by invitation rather than by will or force. Now, there's an old story about the sun and the wind, and how the sun was like, okay, I can make him take his jacket off. And the wind is like, I can too. And the sun is like, okay, I'm going to make him very hot. And the sun got brighter and brighter, and it got hot, and he eventually took his jacket off and flung it over his shoulder. And then the wind attempted to do by force what the sun was able to do by just being. You know, the wind had to use force. The sun was like, I'm just going to shine. And we're being asked to surrender our forcefulness. Some of us think we lack determination, but what we really lack is compassion for ourselves. So even if you can just do this for a moment, just surrendering, trying, the energy of trying. Things that are meant to break down are breaking down, and they inevitably will anyway. So being able to surrender allows us to be able to be redirected. But resisting, trying to resist, is only going to create more resistance. And it seems ironic. It's like a paradox. It doesn't really make sense to think in our mind that we can relax and attract whatever it is that we want in our life, that we can actually think and feel our way into creating our reality. Well, things just happen. You know, this is what we're being called to become. This is why we must become emotionally intelligent, because we are becoming emotional masters of ourselves, not anyone else. So this eclipse is definitely coming and doing away with codependent energy. And people may feel disappointed if you start acting different. Okay, you start having boundaries. You start saying no more often, because a lot of us are exhausted and we can feel it. Codependency causes chronic fatigue. I really believe that, because you're constantly mentally attached to other people, measuring their temperament and how okay they are. And this is what we learn as children who experience certain types of trauma. We learn how to be hypervigilant and always scanning our environment for possible threats and making sure that we are a solution, whenever it happens. And so this is why we need the feminine wisdom of working with energy to bring balance. So let go of force, and know that no matter what is happening, you are being called to stand in your light and know that your light is enough, that it will make up for whatever it is that you cannot do yourself. Standing in your light. I don't know, who that was for, but it's time for you to stand in your light. And even if your shadows are being revealed while you're standing in your light, it's all right. Just by standing in your light, you're allowing yourself to be in the atmosphere you need to be in to help you heal. And it kind of feels like you're standing naked, outside. And you just like, this doesn't feel right. But we're stripping down. We're stripping down. And I really do believe that codependency, which is this deep yearning to please people and being hypervigilant, you feel what other people may or may not really be feeling, but it shows up as emotions inside of you. And sometimes it's hard to tell when somebody else's emotions is what you're feeling, or you're feeling your own. Like, this is the awakening. This is the ascension, right? We're getting these gifts, and so it requires us to be more sensitive to energy. So with sensitivity to energy must come the wisdom, the feminine way. Being soft, being softer. So many of us need that. So many of us are afraid to not be perfect. And a lot of us are stressed out because of it. It's not good. And if you are a divine being, and you are, and you're awakening to the power of your divinity, you're not going to be allowed to do things that compromise the sacred journey of your soul anymore. This is where the rubber meets the road, they say. So this is, I'm going to ask Isis for guidance. Give us guidance for this eclipse coming up. Whoa, that was a lot of energy coming up. The the Soul Retrieval. Isis, the healing goddess, now offers you spiritual restoration and deep soul healing through the art of soul retrieval. Reclaiming pieces of you lost through trauma, old and new. Soon you will enjoy greater wellness, energy, and power. So be willing to go through the healing process, knowing that any emotional clearing taking place is leading you to wholeness. Whatever is coming up, the soul retrieval, whatever is coming up for you, is leading you to the better version of yourself. And there are so many versions of us that are existing right here in this moment. Just by noticing different ways that you think, you can start to think your way through different versions of yourself. This is quantum jumping, right? You feel into different versions of yourself and you lean into the version of yourself that you want to be. So, you know, this is, I have a soul retrieval meditation recently that I was taken on by my guides, and I recorded it. It's going to be in the course Turning Pain to Purpose, which is the alchemy course that I'm teaching. But that soul retrieval is so powerful that the energy of that, a lot of us didn't know that awakening meant reconnecting with your soul consciously. This is a solar eclipse, the soul, the solar, right? So this energy is seeking whatever it is that we need to be balanced out. And for some of us, it's emotional clearing. For some of us, we just need to grieve the person that we thought we had become. Now that a lot of the trauma has been exposed and the masks have come off, we need to grieve the person we thought we was. Maybe we need to grieve the person we thought we had become, and you're realizing you're not quite there yet. We need to be able to emotionally clear that. Having some type of spiritual practice that you are using to emotionally clear these imprints within you. This is going to be so protective for this journey, and it is so necessary. So, you know, I know that it sometimes seems like when you're emotional, you're not in your power, but you actually are. And if you give yourself time to be with your emotions and allow whatever needs to come up, maybe you don't know how to make it come up, because we repress and push things down so much, we become experts at repression. And so a lot of stuff that we have been repressing that is creating an imbalanced life for ourselves is going to be coming to the surface so that you can retrieve parts of your soul. That is so beautiful. Like nothing is happening to you just to be happening to you. Everything is happening for you. It really is. And if you start to say it is happening for me, it's not happening to me. This is happening for me. Thank you. I give thanks. Maybe even with tears in your eyes, that you give thanks for what's happening for you. This is how we're being called to think. We're being called to think as if we're in our after story, right? We're called to be the before, you know, and maybe you're seeing that. But can you start to see the after? What happens after this? What happens after you go through this soul retrieving energy, this deep trauma healing energy? What happens after you start learning how to work through the codependency in your day-to-day life? Like who do you become after that? Just living in the after more often. So we're consciously creating that. And feminine energy is magnetic, so we will attract that to us. But deep clearing. I don't know, maybe even chest pain somebody been having, but just deep clearing is being called here. And so for me, I do breath work, or I'll work with fire to do a purification of certain emotions. If I'm called to work with water, it just depends on what is resonating with me and what I'm feeling. But I'm being directed to do a clearing. So I'm gonna do a clearing around the heart with you. You will just inhale, hold it in for 4 seconds, and exhale. Another inhale, hold it for 4 seconds, exhale. The breath is making room, releasing the static, right? And just imagining your breath doing this for you. So when I do my clearings, I speak in mother tongue to do that clearing, and I do have a mother tongue video here on this YouTube that you can listen to do that clearing. And I have meditations on Patreon as well, and many other things that you could use to work through these energies. But these energies are really helping us to step into a version of ourselves that we thought was out of reach, and it wasn't. It wasn't. It's within reach. Yeah, it's within reach. Yeah. And so it's gonna benefit us to change our language, to pay more attention to the way that we respond and what is it reflecting. Pay attention to what motivates us to do things. Is it fear that motivates us? Is it shame that motivates us? Is it the fear of not meeting somebody's need or disappointing someone motivating us? Like, what motivates us? Is it other people's expectations that motivate us, or am I motivated by my own inner self and inspirations? This is like learning how to have a conversation with your heart, right? Okay, so I'm gonna pull one more card from my crystal deck to see what would be a great way for us to be supported with this energy. What would be a great way to be supported with this energy? Ooh, this energy is crazy, y'all. Oh my goddess. Oh my. That's what we gonna be feeling like. Okay, it was you. I felt you. Crystal towel, which is for animals. Crystal towel, which is for animals. I feel like animal guides are gonna definitely be showing up for us right now. We're gonna be getting messages from the animals. So I feel like this is a good time for you to just take some time and reconnect with your spirit animal. If your spirit animal has made themselves known to you, your totem animal. Also just paying attention to what animals and insects cross your path. Those carry messages. This is the way the universe talks. This is the language of the universe. And so this will be really great for us to be supported right now. And if you're open to calling in your spirit animal, you can. I'm not gonna make you watch a whole nother video. I'm telling you now. Just one of the tips that you can use is asking for your spirit animal to come to you, and putting a glass of water under your bed. Water holds the energy of what we're speaking. holds vibrational energy. So you're kind of going to program this water to help your spirit animal come to you. And pay attention to your dreams, for the next few nights or week or the next 2 weeks. Just be receptive to making that connection. And you can make that connection that way. And if you have trouble with lucid dreams or anything like that, we have crystals in our shop to help you with that. We also have like the four winds, these herbs that you can use to help with that as well. So just go look on the shop, and see if it's something in there that'll be able to support you. Because throughout this energy, you do want to have tools to support you, y'all. We are learning how to extend the inner work that we're doing outside of us. And so it helps in shaping our environment. So we're not leaning so much on controlling other people's reactions and how people feel about us and what they think about us, and more so on creating the frequency within our surroundings that we want to experience. And in order to do that, you have to be able to shift your attention away from certain things that you're observing. If you're observing something and it's creating negative emotions and you had enough of it and you're ready to get off that wave, like just breathing, using your breath to just help you shift what you're observing. Because where attention goes, energy flows. And if you're constantly observing the things that you are ready to be done with, feeling a negative way about it, you're holding it in your life longer than it has to be. So let's let go, surrender, be more open to a softer way. And you're going to come out the other side of this a better version of yourself because of it. All right, so I'm going to put the link in the description. If you want to make a reading, have a reading with me, I do have a few spaces. But yeah, this is epic. All right, y'all. Peace.